time for more embroidery stitches. I am following along with Create and Craft with Christine's Fabric Dictionary of Stitches, and she is using an older version of this book, and in her backstitch video she does the backstitch that's in this book plus the way that she normally does it. So I have that set up, but while researching for this video I found that there's also a backstitch in this book, this backstitch trellis that I want to do. This is really cool. I have these stencils for doing making like bullet journals and stuff, and I found that it makes really good evenly spaced lines and I don't have to measure, which I like. And then in this one there's the backstitch, the threaded backstitch, the double threaded backstitch, and the whipped backstitch. So I'm going to be attempting all of those, but I'm going to start with just the traditional backstitch, which is in here. Let's see if I can't do that one. And I'm going to do that one on this line right here, or maybe just half of that line and then switch over to the other way. I did a crochet thread with sparklies right there. I don't know if you can tell that it sparkles, and oh my gosh, that was difficult. My question is, how many strands do I want? I did all of the writing in 3 strands, so maybe I should do 3 strands. I will be right back after I separate my strands and get my needle. While I was gone, I went ahead and put some evenly spaced marks on my line because I can't see the distances yet like I should. So it says mark a line on the fabric and bring the thread up to the front at A, approximately 1.5 millimeters or 1/16 of an inch from the start of the marked line. Take the needle into the fabric at B and reemerge at C. I don't know if I'll be able to do that in a hoop, but we'll give it a go. Pull the thread through to complete the first stitch. Take the needle to the back at A in the exactly same hole and reemerge at D. Continue working stitches in this manner to the end. That's pretty straightforward. Pardon the pun. Not really forward, it's forward and back, I guess. This is not how I backstitch my letters. My letters, I just wherever. Oh, I guess I should scoot up and be on camera. Sorry about that. My letters, I just come up and go down wherever in an effort to create the letter. I don't know if you could be so methodical. Maybe when I get better I can. I don't know. So I think I'm going to do one more stitch and that will be half of my line. I'm going to go watch her video and see which of the 2 ways that she did it, and I'm going to compare. That's pretty good. I like that. I'm going to compare this stitch to the one in this big book, and then I will be back. I went back and rewatched Christine's video, and I compared this book to this book, and I believe that what she's doing her second time is called a running backstitch. So, and I already have the word running on here. So that's what I'm going to do for her second one. I'm just going to call it a running backstitch. Oh, I didn't put my marks on. Hold on a second. Round 2. So you come up at the beginning of your line, and you go down in the next position, and then up, down, up, down, out. And just work all the way across, just like that. Make sure I don't make myself bleed. Last time I poked myself and started bleeding. That's not good. So it's kind of like it's running, I guess is the right terminology for it. But you just kind of leap forward and then go back down. Christine said that this is a stronger stitch, and this running stitch is if you need to conserve your thread and want it to go farther. And I could see how that would be for both of them. I don't know if you can do this one in a single motion like you could do that one. Like, where would I don't think so. I think this is an up and down. So that is the running back stitch, and this is what they both look on the back. So this one is quite a bit more thread, and this one has quite a bit less thread. I'm going to finish that one and then decide which of these others I would like to do next. I was incorrect. This running stitch is not the same as hers. In hers, she comes up at the end of this stitch and goes forward, and then she goes forward and then back, and then at the end of this stitch again forward and then back. I'm going to do a couple more and show you how all three of these are completely different on the back. This is very similar to what I was just doing though. Oh, I'm about to lose my tail. Let's see if I can fix that. Here we go. One more. I don't know where I came down at. So, traditional backstitch, running backstitch, and the one that Christine uses. Which creates completely different patterns on the back. I will say I don't think that, I think, well, partly is what do you want to look like, I suppose. They do look a little bit different. Or how much of your thread are you trying to conserve? Or maybe it just comes down to what you're more comfortable with. I think that this one was a little bit faster because you don't go to the back with your hand at all. You just stay on the front. I don't know. One more stitch though, and then I will see what I would like to do next. There we go. Backstitch, running backstitch, and Christine's version. Very nice. I shall be back. Okay, I'm just going to do this one next because it's the next one in this book. It's the threaded backstitch. I went ahead and drew 2 more lines and divided them up on here because it says it's comprised of backstitches woven with a second threading thread that does not pierce the fabric. Makes a heavier line than the basic backstitch. It's effective in 2 colors, so I'm going to do the top line in just the one color. I'm going to do the second line in the 2 colors, and it says try 2 very different types of thread. So this will be my 3rd thread for different size and texture, etc. First, stitch all the back stitches. So I will go backstitch all 3 lines, and then I will come back and we'll do the threading part. I have my 3 rows of backstitch done, ready to do my threaded backstitch. I did the first row the way Christine does, and then I did the next 2 rows with the running backstitch. I just find it faster and more enjoyable than the other 2. So for my threaded backstitch, I have already completed the backstitch part. So I just need to come up next to, I'm going to go the other way, next to the line right here, it looks like. And first stitch all the back stitches, then bring the threading thread at one end of the back stitches and weave it under the back stitch from alternating sides without piercing the fabric. If possible, use a tapestry needle for threading the thread. I could go find a tapestry needle, but I'm just going to use this one and go backwards like they suggest. And try not to go under my other line. My thread is impossibly long. I guess I could have made that shorter. The suggestions for using this are to outline, borders, letters, stems, tendrils, anything I guess that you would like a little bit more, a thicker line rather than just maybe adding more thread. You get a little bit more of a decorative line. Alright, that's the first one. I'll finish that and come back and we'll switch over to the purple and see what it looks like doing it that way. There's the first one finished in the matching color, and now I'm going to do the second one in a oops, I wanted to come out below that. In a contrasting color or a different color. I don't know if this is contrasting enough. I did switch to a tapestry needle because I stabbed myself about 25,000 times on the last line and was not enjoyable. It is subtle, but it looks good. So that's what it's going to look like. And I'll be back when that's finished, and we'll do this big old fat pink one on the last line. There's my contrasting color. It doesn't show up very well. I probably should have done something much more bolder. It's not going to show up on camera at all, I don't think, but it is. It's subtle, and I like it. Now we're going to do this big fat pink floss and see how that looks. Definitely be more. It'll be bold. I'll be able to see it. Where I'm at. Pay attention so I don't go the wrong way. It's a little bit slower than the last one as well. The last two just obviously went right through. This one is not going to go as fast. But there it is. That one shows up, I think. I will finish that, and then it looks like the next one will be the double threaded backstitch, which I'll do when I come. I'm back. While I was gone, I finished the threaded backstitch with the fat pink yarn, and I went ahead and drew the lines for the double threaded and the whipped, and went ahead and backstitched those as well. And then for the trellis, I'm going to sew on 2 little pieces of Aida, I don't know how to say it, fabric. So, and I took it out of the hoop, and it is, the running backstitch is really a lot easier out of the hoop than it is in the hoop, because you can do it all in one motion, just down and up, which was rather nice. So, I'm back in this book, and we're on the double threaded, which is right here. It says, comprised of a line of basic back stitches woven with a second and third threading threads that do not pierce the fabric, creates a broad textured line effective in 1, 2, or 3 colors. The threading threads look dramatic when stitched in metallic threads. I don't have any metallic threads, so I won't be doing that. How to stitch? Well, I did the back stitches, so now I need the threading thread. This is all I have left of that, so that's not going to work for me. I will need another piece of thread. I'll do the first one in 1 color, matching color to what I had, and then I will do the second one in 2 colors, and maybe I'll do the third one in something fatter. I'm not sure. I do have this pink that has a little bit of sparkly on it. Maybe I could try that. I might try that. But first we'll do the just straightforward with the same color. Oh, I didn't do that right. Darn it. That was 4 instead of 3. One more try. I'll put that back together with that later, if I can get it off my sweater. There we go. I lost my threader hiding under my book. There we go. I should have gotten a little bit more ready, I guess. Thread my needle and tie my knot, and I'll be right back. Okay, so on this top line right here, I will come out in the same spot, and I will just go back down. I should have used my other needle. I know better. Let's try that. This one I do not. It's got such a big eye. You can just stuff it right through there. Okay. So this is just like the previous stitch that I just did, the threaded. Back and forth, and then we come back down the other side. So let me get that done, and then I will come back down the other side. Oh no, wait, am I doing that right? I'm not doing that right. That was whipped. I think that's a whipped. I will frog it, and then I will do it, and I'll be right back. I frogged it. Let's try again. Let's see if I can do it correctly. I went under that way, so now I'm going to go drop my needle under this way, under this way. I wonder if I could do a couple and then pull. Probably asking for trouble doing that. And one more. Nope. That went pretty well. I'm careful not to catch my other stitches. I did take this out of the hoop. I don't know if I mentioned this already. My phone keeps ringing, so I don't know where I'm at or what I'm doing. I took it out of the hoop, and the running back stitch is a lot easier out of the hoop because you can do it all in one motion, which is nice. Little floppy in my hands, but that's okay. Where am I at? So I'm just gonna run up there. I'm almost done, and then we'll see how to get back. Imagine just go the other way. I dropped it. One more stitch, and we'll pull through. We'll pull it out of our needle because we pulled too hard. I don't know. I do that a lot. Get rid of that. Okay. So I end up there, and then let's see, the back stitches under that alternating sides without piercing the fabric. Repeat with a second threading thread working the side opposite first. Obtain the look shown in the diagram. Use somewhat of a loose tension. I might have pulled it too tight. I am going to go down here and up here to get on the other side. So now I came that way. Now we're just going to go back the other way. Actually, it is pretty loose. It doesn't feel all that tight. I'm not struggling to get underneath it anyway. Oh, that's a pretty stitch. Looks like a little braid. How nice. Okay, let me run down to the end and finish that, and then we'll see what color we want to use for the next one. Alright, there is my double threaded back stitch. I don't know how that, it doesn't look very focused on my camera. I don't know what's up with my camera, but maybe I need to upgrade. Anyway, now I'm going to do the double threaded back stitch with the same purple that I used earlier. And it's just exactly the same thing, only with a different color. So you probably don't care to watch me do that again. I will be right back, and when I come back, I will be ready to do with well, I'll probably get out this thread with the sparkly and see if that will work. I feel like it's going to be, it was really difficult to work with on doing the back stitch word, but maybe just slow and low is the key. So I will be right back when I'm ready to do that. Finished two of the double threaded, same color, different color, so two colors, and then now we're going to use this. I don't know where I got it, probably from a thrift store, but very beat up, scrunched thread. even this is hard to crochet with often because the thread just absolutely struggles to not come apart. So I'm going to presume that for this one I'd be better off just doing one stitch at a time rather than trying to do multiple stitches, so that we can be as gentle with the thread as possible to encourage it not to fall apart, because it does like to fall apart. Sarah Humphrey Embroidery has a video about how to work with metallic threads and gold threads and stuff, and she recommends using small pieces, larger needles, so that when you, and I'm actually really glad that I saw that, this would not thread in my other needle anyway, and I had already used, where am I at? Going up. I was already using this bigger needle when I stitched the word backstitch, but the reasoning is that the needle creates a bigger hole in the fabric, and so there's less stress on the thread than there would be if you put it in a smaller needle, which I found to be interesting. Makes sense. You would think that I could have come up with that one on my own. I guess I kind of did, unintentionally, not the reasoning for it, but the process, because I see, look at that, it's already coming apart on the end. Hopefully it'll make it back. By happenstance, because I was using the bigger needle just because it was easier to thread, and I happened to be watching her video while I was doing that word, and I was like, oh, look, I stumbled upon something. Always good to stumble upon something. 3 more stitches, and then we can go back the other way. So go down here, get off of that, and up on the other side. This edge is driving me bonks. Not sure what I want to do about that. I don't know if I want to wait and when I put it in the book do something with it, or if I want to do something with it before I put it in the book. I've mentioned this before. I am ambidextrous. I eat and write with my left hand. I can stitch with both hands. However, my right hand is much more proficient because I was raised by a group of right-handers that either couldn't or wouldn't translate to left-handed for me. Probably couldn't, or just didn't think about it. They just lived their lives, and I just picked up what they were doing by watching. Who knows? I don't have a lot of recollection about that. Nope. Caught too much. Alright, well, that is what that looks like. I am going to finish that off and get ready to do my whip stitch, but I'm also going to go iron it because the lines are driving me crazy. I don't like seeing the lines. I like seeing it without the lines. So I'll be back in a few minutes. It will be instant for you, but I'll be back. It will be ironed. This row will be done, and I'll be ready to do the whipped. Oh, I love ironing off the lines. I also trimmed my fabric while I was there. So let's see, we're on to whipped. Similar to the threaded back stitch, except the whipping thread weaves Under the back stitches from one side only. The whipping thread may weave over and under every back stitch or every other back stitch. Oh, I see. Every back stitch or every other back stitch. I see. Effective in 1 or 2 colors. So I already have this on here, so I'm going to do this first because why not? Tie a little knot in there. The question is every back stitch or every other back stitch. Maybe we'll do every other with this one, and I'm going to do it on the bottom, whipped one. Come up right here. So let's see. If I go through this one and I skip that one to do the every other, skip, pass, skip, pass, skip, 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 it's funny when you iron off your lines how you can see places where you missed. It wasn't quite right. Your line is wonky or the stitches didn't quite come together. I guess that's the human aspect of stitching. What separates us from being machines? Or maybe other people are just so perfect at it. I watched Sarah Humphrey, like I said a little bit ago, and her stitching is divine. Absolutely divine. That's pretty. I like it. Tie a quick little knot. Oops, I don't want to pull too much. The back of my work looks like a train wreck, which kind of makes me laugh. Okay, I'm on a roll. Just keep going backwards. I'm going to do 2 colors on the next row up. Oops, wrong side. That will not work. Definitely will not go through my little needle eye there. This one, I think I will also do every other one. Sometimes I struggle to figure out how I want to hold my fabric and what orientation I'd like my fabric to be in. Sometimes it speaks to me and sometimes it does not. It's definitely pretty quick. I already did the running stitch part, but the running back stitch part, but this is not. Look at that. All over the road right there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There we go. It's okay. Actually, when you do the whipped or add something to it, it actually kind of mitigates some of that, straightens it up a little bit. It's not as obvious that you were all over the place. Straightens it up quite a bit, actually. I don't know if you can see on camera the 2 colors. They're not as contrasting as I had thought they were. They look much more contrasting in real life. although the stitches are so small and the thread is not all that thick, so it's not that obvious. It is a subtle effect, to be sure, which is okay. Sometimes subtle is good, sometimes bold is good. So that just leaves the whipped at the top. I think my needle is broken. That is the second time I have had my yarn, my thread come out of it without actually, it is, without, it just came out of the middle. There's a tiny little split at the top. I'll have to replace it. I'm going to skip that for the moment because how many times can you watch me whip something? So that is this book complete. And that brings us to trellis, and I don't need this either for that. So for the trellis backstitch, I have these two cute little pieces of cloth. Again, I don't know what they're called. I think I know what they're called, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Aida, not sure. Okay. Intersecting diagonal rows of backstitch. I think there might be other backstitches in this book as well. I don't know where they're at, but they're the same as what I've already done, so there's really no point in doing that. It says work in a series of diagonal parallel rows of backstitch. See page 40. Start the first row at A, which is, we're going to go right, I didn't count this very well. Hopefully it works out for me. We're going to go here. Second at B, and the third at C. I'm going to do every other hole because these are really tiny. I probably shouldn't have cut out my little cloth until after I had done this, but that's okay. So there's A. Now we need a B. We're going to jump down 2. I will be right back. Work calls. Just kidding. Work does not call. Spam calls. Gotta love it. I do not talk to them. I just set my phone down until they give up and hang up. Oof. Oof. Oh, I'm going to be very close to the edge on my next stitch. Oh, I'm alright. I'm not playing this out very well. That's alright. There's B. Now we need a C row. I used to cross stitch quite a bit. No, probably not quite a bit. I used to cross stitch a little. Then just one day I stopped. Other, life and other hobbies, and I struggle with the cross stitch patterns being not of my favorite design choices, I guess. Wonder how far I should go with that. Probably do one more little half a stitch right here to make it even. Theirs is in a square. I'm going to finish stitching until I have a complete square, and then we will figure out the other half of this. Okay, there's the first portion of the back stitch, and I wonder what it looks like on page 40. Well, they just go in a straight line. So it looks kind of like that. I messed it up from the very beginning. I went one line too far on my second row, which put the whole thing off all the way, and that's okay. It's okay. Couldn't figure out why I was ending up with single spaced stitches, and then that is why, because I made a mistake and I don't feel like fixing it, so I'm not going to. Okay. Oh, that was odd. Let's go with it. There's a thread right there. Okay. Working on the next row in the opposite direction. Starting at C. Then at G. I don't know, I think I did too much, so it's going to take me a minute to figure this out. So starting here and jumping here, because I need to go over that. Come out at H. What? Stitch at right angles to the previous row. I'm just going to not follow the directions, I guess, because insert at I, come out at J. I don't understand the directions at all. Repeat to complete the trellis. I'm going to go up one row and down the other. Maybe I didn't start in the right spot. Oh, this is a train wreck. My goodness. Okay, pull that out. I'm going to pull all of this part out, and I am going to attempt this again, and I'll be back. We'll see how I do. I might try it on my other little piece with less stitches. I think I did too many stitches to start. Hold on. Okay, my little pattern now matches their little pattern in that there are 5 lines. So I'm working on the next row in the opposite direction. I have not cut off my thread. I'm still attached. It's starting at C, which is this line right here. I believe they're talking about this line. And then coming out at G. It's very confusing. We're going to start at C right here. Come out at G. Actually, would be down at G, I guess. I have no idea. But that is what the first bit looks like. Come out at H. I don't know where that is. Probably down here somewhere. It's got to be here. Not sure why I would jump so far over. Insert at I. Oh, they came out here. Okay, they came out here in the middle of that stitch. So this is probably wrong. I needed to come out in the middle of that stitch. Let's see if I can go back. I need to go in to the middle of this stitch, like this, I think. And then back for the back stitch part of that. Trying to go back down where I was. Oh, this is very confusing. Like that? Okay. So if I come out at H, which is the center of this right here, and back down at I, should be there, and up at J, which I think is right here, not really, that's where I'm going to go, and down at H again. And up here and down there. That would leave this bit right here to do. I think. Let's see. No. I have like half of it. Oh my lordy. I only have like half of it. So where's the other half come from? Maybe here to here. To here. This is very confusing. They're just really big cross stitches, I think. That would have to be past. Maybe that's the problem with the previous one. I didn't go past. I think that's too close. That's too far away. That needs another stitch from like here back to here. Oh, the joys of learning a new craft. That's not really right. I'm making stuff up now as I go along. I'm going to jump over here and work my way back. I don't know what the line is that I was on. %, not right. And yeah, this one is definitely not right. I'll work on that for a couple more minutes, but oh my goodness, that was hard. I don't know. I have a trellis. I don't think it's correct. That will have to be a stitch that I need to revisit at some point, I guess. I'm going to trim this a little bit smaller and like that. I'm going to sew that right there with a back stitch probably. And I need to finish my whip stitch, and then this, my back stitches are done. I'll be back when it's finished. Alright, I've finished my back stitches. I've got my whipped 3 ways, my running, my back stitch in the traditional way, my threaded 3 ways, my double threaded 3 ways, and this annoying little piece of trellis. So another completed stitch. It's very nice. I like it.